Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the ADDIESDIVE AD2054. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing this ADDIESDIVE AD2055, and Greg was wearing my GSD 003 on the bracelet. I took Grogo to see the 45th anniversary showing of Alien last night, and afterwards asked him what he thought. He said he liked it, but where was the alien? I said it was the huge drooling thing with a retractable jaw. He said, oh, I thought that was my Uncle Orville. All right, let's take a look at the watch. This is the ADDIESDIVE, and they always come in this container. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love these containers. They're nice and sturdy, and they stack very nicely. Because I try to keep all my containers. I always keep my extra links in. Plus, I always sell these anyway. We won't go over the contents because I know you saw my unboxing. That's when I go over the contents of the box. But here it is. Isn't that a nice looking watch? I think ADDIESDIVE has a winner here. This is really good looking. I already got a compliment from it too. Of course it was from a guy buying a watch from me, but still. This ADDIESDIVE just came out and is basically their Quartz sub homage with fauxtina. But it's been years since I reviewed said sub, so let's go ahead and review this one. However, if you're already familiar with their Quartz sub, you might just want to skip to the lume test. The biggest difference between this and their typical sub homage is the fauxtina on the hands and markers, giving it a vintage look. But when it comes to the bezel, instead of a fully lume bezel like many ADDIESDIVE, we just have a lume pip and not a fully lume bezel. And for some odd reason, they skipped the fauxtina on the bezel other than the pip. They're also treating this watch like a second-class citizen, as it has a press clasp and a mineral glass crystal. They just seem to want to do that if a watch is quartz. Maybe they think people that buy a watch that's quartz just don't care. This watch comes in two different colorways. If you don't like the blue that I chose, there's also black. However, if you look at the bezel in the picture, it looks gray instead, even though the dial is clearly black. The watch is 40.5 millimeters at the bezel, 48.2 millimeters lug to lug with protruding end links, not inverted. It's 12.8 millimeters thick if you don't count the Cyclops, and I never do. Has a 20 millimeter lug width that tapers down to 18. It weighs 143 grams on the supplied bracelet with 3 links removed. The bezel is 120 click unidirectional. The action's pretty good. It's a little stiff, but I guess that's nice because you're not going to knock it out of place accidentally. The clicks are kind of small, but there's no back play, and it looks like it lines up good enough. And I really like the insert. I really like this color of blue, and it's ceramic, and it's flat, not shiny. I just wish the markers were fauxtina also. I think that would have looked better than the mixture of the white and the fauxtina. The whole point is to make the watch look aged, but if you have all this white there, it just looks like just something they did style-wise. So it makes it just look obvious. Then we have the dial. The dial is a flat blue, no sunburst effect. Flat is what they are going for. And then we have the minute markers are white too. Why not do the minute markers in fauxtina? Why do some and not the other? Then we have the ADDIESDIVE logo printed on top. And then on the bottom it says 600 feet, 200 meters. So yes, you get 200 meters. And then we have the indices. The indices are painted on, not applied. And they're just painted on lume. You'll see the lume test later. And then we have the hands. They're your typical Rolex style hands: fence post minute hand, Mercedes hour hand, and lollipop second hand. Then we have a date at the 3 with a Cyclops. The Cyclops does a pretty good job of magnifying. So I always say, if you're going to have a Cyclops, then have a Cyclops. Not everybody likes them, but if you're going to have one, you want one that magnifies. But look at this though, they put an index right next to it. And it kind of looks bad through the Cyclops. I wish they would have just left it out, because it makes the date look not centered. Yeah, you're seeing a lot of reflection too from the overhead light. Then we have a sign screw down crown. Crown action is just fine. Nothing wrong with it. It goes back in easy enough. And this is a Miyota 2115, so it's got good, you don't have to worry about any annoying minute hand jump or anything like that. See, no problem there. Then we have the crystal. Crystal is glass, not sapphire. Once again, this is their quartz model, and they just seem to want to put a mineral glass crystal on it. If it was an automatic, it'd probably have sapphire. This 2055 here is an automatic, and sure enough, it has sapphire. Of course, it keeps the price down, so, but some people prefer sapphire. Me, I'm okay with glass. It's just, once again, they're treating this watch like a second-class citizen. The case is solid steel. It's your basic sub-style case, polished on the sides, brushed on the tops and the bottoms. It's a nice enough case. I like it. I think they did a good job with it. Finish works fine. And then we have the case back. For some reason, we have a coin edge case back. I don't know why they went that way. Also, if you look there, it says divers with an apostrophe S. They shouldn't do that. That implies ISO 6425 certification, and this most certainly is not. In ISO 6425, every single watch has to be tested, not just a sampling, and that's just cost prohibitive for a $40 watch. And it says 200 meters, ADDIESDIVE, stainless steel, deep sea hunter. Yes, everything's a deep sea hunter with ADDIESDIVE. You'll need a coin edge case back opener to open this. You'll need a 29.5 millimeter tool to do that. Of course, you could try one of them little ball things. I haven't had good luck with those, but I do have a tool. I really don't like coin edge at all, especially on the quartz, because you have to open the case back every 3 to 4 years to change the battery. An automatic, at least, unless you're going to regulate it, you don't have to open the case back. But this one you do, so it would have been nice if you could just use any old wrench and not a coin edge. Underneath the case back is the Miyota 2115. This is really the go-to quartz movement of watches in this price range. It's a pretty good movement. Once again, it doesn't have any annoying minute hand jump, and it works just fine. And as you can see, the second hand is missing the marks, but it's such a thin second hand that it might not set off your quartz OCD. Who knows? Then we have the bracelet. We have solid end links, and the links themselves are solid, and we have push pin adjusters, not screw pins. I've never had an ADDIESDIVE with screw pins. They just do push pins. I'm perfectly happy with push pins. I never have to worry about them coming out on me. I've had many a screw pin come out on me, and who wants to mess with Loctite? The clasp, though, is the old one. It's not one of their newer ones. Once again, they're treating this watch like a second-class citizen. This automatic I'm wearing has their newer clasp. So it would have been nice if this would have had this. Of course, you can buy a clasp really cheap on AliExpress and get a better one. Especially since this isn't signed, nobody's going to care if you change it. You'll need an 18 millimeter. And I removed 3 links to fit on my 7.5-inch wrist. And they came off plenty easy. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. That really looks nice. It wears nice. It's a really good looking watch. I really enjoyed wearing it. Once again, I removed 3 links to fit on my 7.5-inch wrist, so you should be able to wear this 8 3/4, no problem. Here we are in the loom room. Addie's Dive usually have great loom considering their reasonable price, but this one has fauxtina, and that means the loom has a paint mix into it, and I wonder if the loom is as good. As we speed up the time, we see the green glow of C3. The indices and the pip are doing quite well, but unfortunately the hands aren't quite as good. And this Addie's Dive is pulling a Pagani design on us by giving us hands that seriously underperform the markers. And we can't blame the fauxtina because the markers are the same color as the hands. The hands just don't perform as well. What I like about this watch? Well, they really nailed the color of blue and the fauxtina. It really gives a flat edge look and really looks nice. I like this nicely brushed solid steel bracelet. It's very comfortable and easy to adjust, plus it's playing long enough. And I really do like the ceramic bezel. And I like the fact it has a Miyota 2115 with a no annoying minute hand jump. What are my gripes and groans? Why not fauxtina the bezel markers? Then I think plus the minute markers. I think that would look better. Hand loom is disappointing for an Addie's Dive, and they are still treating their Quartz model as second class with pressed clasp and glass crystal. Do I recommend this watch? Sure, this is one great looking sub-homage for a very reasonable price. Even if you already own an Addie's Dive Quartz sub-homage, this one looks different enough to own both. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Addie's Dive 2054, and I will be back with another review. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel, and if you like this watch, be sure to use my affiliate link, and I will get a small commission. Bye.